Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into two really key Microsoft Azure services for NoSQL data, Azure Table Storage and Azure Cosmos DB. If you've ever found yourself scratching your head trying to pick between these two for a project, well, our mission today is to clear that up for you. Let's maybe use an analogy. Think of Azure Table Storage like a simple notebook. It's quick, it's cheap, great for basic notes. Then you've got Azure Cosmos DB. That's more like a powerful global library system, built for complex stuff, high performance, accessible everywhere.
That's a good way to put it.
So how do you actually decide? Let's maybe start with a core purpose. What exactly is Azure Table Storage and where does it really fit best?
Okay, so Azure Table Storage is fundamentally a minimalist NoSQL service. It's really budget friendly. It shines when you need to store huge volumes of structured key value data. Think things like logging events or maybe storing configuration settings, even simple user preferences. It's very basic, part of Azure's core storage, built for simplicity and, importantly, cost efficiency.
Okay, simple, cost effective. So if that's table storage, how does Cosmos DB position itself as that powerful global library? What's the big difference there?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. Cosmos DB is much more sophisticated. It's a fully managed NoSQL database, and it's specifically built for global scale and a lot of flexibility. So unlike table storage, it supports multiple data models, not just key value, but documents, graphs, and it even speaks different APIs like SQL, MongoDB, Cassandra. This makes it perfect for, low latency, globally distributed apps. Think real-time analytics, big e-commerce platform.
Right, performance is key there. Now, you mentioned table storage can handle massive data sets, right?
It can, yes.
Petabytes. But I've heard performance really depends on getting your partition key right. If you mess that up, you can get these hot partitions.
Exactly. That's the potential catch. A bad partition key means all your requests might hit just one part of the system, creating a bottleneck. It's super fast for simple lookups based on that key, like finding a specific record. But complex queries, not its strong suit, it'll struggle.
Okay.
Now, Cosmos DB, on the other hand, is engineered quite differently to avoid exactly that problem. It handles partitioning, both logical and physical, automatically. This means it scales much more smoothly and gives you really consistent performance. Plus, you get automatic indexing, and you can run quite efficient SQL-like queries. You basically control the performance by provisioning what are called request units, or RUs. It makes the latency predictable. No real surprises there.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if your application needs to serve users, like all over the world?
Yeah.
Global distribution, how do they stack up?
Yeah, this is a huge differentiator. Table storage fundamentally operates within a single Azure region. You can set up geo-redundant storage, sure, but that's really just for backup and disaster recovery. It doesn't help with real-time access for global users.
So higher latency for anyone far away.
Definitely. Users distant from that primary region will feel it, and it uses strong consistency by default, which is simple but offers no flexibility. Everyone sees the latest right, period.
In Cosmos DB.
Cosmos DB is built precisely for that global scenario. You can easily replicate your data across multiple Azure regions, bringing it closer to your users worldwide for low latency. And critically, it offers 5 different consistency levels. You can choose anything from strong consistency, just like table storage, all the way down to eventual consistency.
5 levels. Wow.
Yeah, so you can trade off between data freshness, availability, and speed, depending on what your application actually needs. It's very tunable.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Cost. That's often the bottom line, right? Table storage sounds cheap.
It is. It's generally one of Azure's most affordable storage options. You pay per gigabyte stored and per transaction count. This makes it really cost-effective if you have large amounts of data, but maybe not that many transactions, like archival data.
But there's a catch.
Well, the caution is those transaction costs. If you have very frequent operations or your queries aren't very efficient, those small per transaction charges can add up unexpectedly.
Got it. And Cosmos DB sounds more expensive.
It generally is, yes. It comes at a premium. The cost is mainly driven by the throughput you provision, those RUs we mentioned, plus storage. And then there are extra charges for things like enabling global replication across multiple regions. Data transfer between regions isn't free.
So more powerful, but pricier.
Exactly. Though options like serverless or auto-scale throughput can help manage costs, especially for workloads that fluctuate a lot. But yeah, a multi-region, high-throughput setup will cost significantly more than table storage.
Okay, so bringing it all together, how do you guide someone listening right now? When should they definitely pick table storage, and when is Cosmos DB the clear winner.
Right. So if you're building something lightweight, cost is a major factor. And your data needs are pretty simple, like key value lookups, things like user settings, maybe device telemetry, basic logs, primarily serving users in one region. Then Azure Table Storage is likely your best bet. It's simple, it's cheap.
Makes sense. And Cosmos.
You should lean towards Cosmos DB when you're building modern applications that need high scalability, guaranteed low latency, and possibly global reach. Think of things like a global social media app, real-time IoT dashboards, complex e-commerce catalogs, or if you specifically need document or graph database capabilities, or maybe you're migrating from MongoDB.
That's clear. What about advice for beginners just dipping their toes into NoSQL on Azure?
Good question. If you're just starting out or experimenting, I definitely say start with table storage. It's much more budget-friendly for learning the ropes, understanding partitioning, that sort of thing. Get your feet wet there.
And then upgrade if needed.
Exactly. If your application grows, if you suddenly find you need complex queries or you need to serve users globally with low latency, or maybe you want to use different data models, then Cosmos DB is a very natural migration path.
That's practical advice. Maybe even try both.
Yeah, absolutely. Spin up a free Azure account if you don't have one, put some sample data in table storage, then create a small Cosmos DB container, maybe even replicate it to a second region. You'll feel the difference in the portal and in how you interact with it.
Great suggestion. So, quick summary then.
Sure. Table storage. Cost-effective, simple, great for regional apps with basic key value needs. Cosmos DB, feature-rich, globally distributed, multi-model, built for high performance, mission-critical global applications, but comes at a higher cost.
Perfect. So here's something to leave you thinking about. When you're making this choice, don't just think about today's requirements. Think about tomorrow. Will that simple notebook you're building today ever need to become that globally accessible library capable of supporting complex real-time research? Worth pondering.